الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على النبي الكريم وبعد. To proceed, resuming and continuing with this academic course regarding Fiqh Nawazil, the comprehension and the study of contemporary issues. And these issues can be somewhat divided in the chapters of fiqh. Abwab al-fiqh, and every chapter of fiqh has a contemporary issue that has emerged, and scholars study them and address them through the topic of Fiqh Nawazil. Also, it can be categorized from a different angle, such as Nawazil that relate to al-mar'a, contemporary issues that relate to the woman, and contemporary issues that relate to men, and contemporary issues that relate to communities at large or people at large, and also nawazil, contemporary issues that just relate to afrad, individuals. So there's different categories for nawazil. So they say Nawazil Mufrada, Nawazil Murakkaba. All of that has been studied by the scholars, and it comes in this topic of Fiqh Nawazil. And some scholars, they have authored, as we mentioned, in specifics. And for example, Nawazil that relate to medicine, modern day medicine. So they have books that have been written specifically of that regards. And then we have nawazil of ibadat or mu'amalat, different topics. Nawazil of jinayat, and things that relate to crimes or worldly violations of certain security laws and certain things. How does that take place with the Shari'ah? All of this is generally studied in Fiqh Nawazil. And some of the ways that the scholars, they come to their conclusions is through looking at the Qawa'id al-Shar'iyyah al-Kubra, the 5 main fiqh maxims of Islam, or the main principles of fiqh that a lot of discussions of jurisprudence goes back to. So they looked and they see what would be the safest route in answering this contemporary issue in accordance to the fiqh maxims of the Shari'ah. Also, how they come to their conclusion is that they look at the maqasid al-Shari'ah. They look at the objectives of the Shari'ah. What does the Shari'ah intend? What is the aim through certain legislations? And by that means, they're able to somewhat conclude, to see which of this particular topic falls under one of the maqasid or goes against it. طيب. Also from the things that the scholars use in concluding, and this is important for our topic because a person may ask, how do these scholars, because we're talking about a matter that there's no explicit text for. There's nothing from the Quran or the Sunnah of its specifics. It's newly emerged. Maybe the scholars prior to that era haven't spoken regarding. And without no shadow of doubt, that's the affair. So we want to know generally what are the guidelines that these scholars are using. These are from it. The next thing is they look to the topic of masalih and mafasid. They look to weighing the pros and the cons. They're weighing the pros and the cons. So this is how, from what they conclude. And also from what they mention, that they use as a yardstick to determine if the matter is halal or haram, is if it opposes other texts of the Shari'ah. Like if it goes generally against certain meanings of other texts of the Shari'ah, that is what they look at. عدم مصادمة النصوص الشرعية. And if they do not come to a conclusion, which we're going to find in the Fiqh Nawazil, we're going to probably study a discussion. They're going to study it thoroughly, and at the end they're going to say, we conclude that it requires further research. So this is part of the conclusions of these scholars. إذا لم يتوصل الباحث إلى حكم شرعي في النازلة توقف فيها. He refrains if he doesn't come to a conclusion that if it's halal or haram, and he waits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making it easy for other scholars to come forward and to find a verdict in the matter. So this is how a lot of the jurists, they take their approach regarding Nawazil. And I'll give you an example, because they say بالمثال يتضح المقال. From the fiqh maxims of the Shari'ah is المصلحة العامة مقدمة على مصلحة الخاصة. The public's interest has precedence over an individual's interest, or the benefit at large that for everyone has precedence over an individual benefit. So sometimes they may look and see the harm to everyone at large, and perhaps the benefit that the person is acquiring by doing that act, and they will try to weigh it out. And this is perhaps how they weigh matters and conclude upon whether it's halal or haram. طيب, some of the topics of Fiqh Nawazil, someone may say is somewhat iftiradi, somewhat become fictional, or it's not really ongoing, or it's somewhat rare to occur. Certain topics that when you look in what the scholars are discussing, it's matters that may happen to one individual, maybe and once in 100 years or something of that sort. Or it may generally to yourself, a lot of the topics that we may be studying may not relate to you and your business or what you're doing or regarding your family. So is there a benefit in studying it? Yes, there is still a benefit. Ibn Qayyim, in his book إعلام الموقعين, he has a discussion. He says, إذا سأل المستفتي عن مسألة لم تقع فهل تستحب أو تستحب إجابته أو تكره أو تخير. فيه ثلاثة أقوال. And here's the ثلاثة. So it is a discussion that Ibn Qayyim put forward. If someone who's seeking a verdict from a mufti asks a question about something that hasn't yet occurred, is it recommended to answer him, or is it disliked, or you have a choice? There's three opinions. And then he says, وَالْحَقُّ التَّفْصِيل. What is more accurate to say is that the answer requires a detailed answer. He says, فَإِنْ كَانَ فِي الْمَسْأَلَةِ نَصٌّ مِنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ أو سُنَّةِ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أو أثر عن الصحابة لم يكره الكلام فيها. He said, if the topic the person is asking about, there's an explicit text from the Quran or the Sunnah, or a narration from the Sahaba, then there's no dislikeness of speaking regarding it, even though it hasn't yet occurred. وإن لم يكن فيها نص ولا أثر فإن كانت بعيدة الوقوع أو مقدرة أو لا أو that it's the estimation basically مقدر أن لا تقع لم يستحب له الكلام فيها. That if it's estimated and assumed that this event or this scenario, this predicament that this person is asking regarding, is not going to occur. It's far-fetched. Then it is not recommended to speak regarding it. And then he says, وَإِنْ كَانَ وَقُوعَهَا غَيْرُ نَادِرٍ وَلَا مُسْتَبْعَدٍ. If it's something that is not rare, it hasn't yet occurred, but it's not rare to occur, and it's not far-fetched. وغرض السائل الإحاطة بعلمها ليكون منها على بصيرة إذا وقعت استحب له الجواب بما يعلم. So he says, if we know that the questioner is doing so to encompass the matter and regarding having knowledge of that scenario, if it were to occur, so you can have insight, here is recommended to answer him. لا سيما إن كان السائل يتفقه بذلك ويعتبر بها نظائرها ويفرع عليها فحيث كانت مصلحة الجواب راجحة كان هو الأولى والله أعلم. Especially if you know that the person is asking about something fictional, it hasn't yet occurred, but he's doing so to maybe pair other topics up to see what they may have a ruling. So at these times, this is okay. And the most who do that, but in an excessive manner, are the Hanafiya. They do tafri'at. They have speech of subsidiary issues regarding matters that who knows if it will occur. They're far-fetched. But as we mentioned, if it comes to what Ibn Qayyim has mentioned, then this is the benefit. So the reason why I mention this, because some topics, person may need to learn it because it may come before him. It may come before him or someone else. And who knows, maybe these issues are still not popular, but they may become really popular in the long run. So with no further delay, we're going to continue, inshallah. And we ask the brother to start from discussion number 3. Tafadhal.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Wa ba'd, discussion number 3 from the topics of modern day Nawazil. Mas'alah topic 3, trading in Forex.
So here we have a mas'ala, تداول العملات في سوق الفوركس, which is trading and forex exchange that we're going to speak about. And it is the trading of currency electronically. As in the past, it was physically in person. Now we're speaking about a new contemporary issue that has emerged. Yes, it has been some years, but it's still contemporary and it's still blurry of what its ruling is. So for that reason, it's still in the air to be studied by these councils, these fiqh councils. Hold on.
What is Forex? The foreign exchange market, also commonly called Forex trading, is where currencies are traded. This international market's most unique aspect is that it lacks a central marketplace. Instead, currency trading is conducted electronically. This means that all transactions occur via computer networks among traders worldwide rather than on one centralized exchange.
So the Forex market is the largest and most liquid financial market in the world, with a daily trading volume exceeding trillions of dollars. It is highly volatile, that we know it leads to rapid price movements, which can generate substantial profits, but also increases the risk of significant losses. So that is Forex for you, generally speaking. And with Forex, there is basically methods of approach, how a person would be in doing the exchange. But what it generally is that a person goes to a simsar, a broker, or a financial institution, company that stands as one that is going to provide margin or leverage that a person bids his wealth through. And this is what he does. He gives you an account through the broker. And we're going to see, inshallah, what some of the verdicts are generally. But what it is that a person, he is bidding or on price fluctuations on currencies, mainly generally of the currencies, of foreign currencies. And we know that trading of currencies, the standard opinion of the jurists is that it's permissible. Yes, Shaykh Albani, rahmatullahi alayhi, he has a verdict where he says trading in currency is of gambling. He only gives it an exception for certain scenarios of durura and so forth, but just generally to make profit in of currencies, he sees that is more by chance and by a sort of gambling because of the risk factor found therein. But the permanent committee has given a verdict and other main assemblies of fiqh that they said that this is permissible. إذا اختلفت الأصناف فبيعوها كيف شئتم. That if these commodities or things of even gold or silver and what takes its ruling of monetary value, if they differ, then sell them as you wish, as long as hand by hand. So this exchange generally is permissible. But in terms of the way how it is now, Forex, we want to speak about their approach, inshallah. Tafadhal.
What are the different rulings that the scholars have issued? Concerning its Islamic ruling, many contemporary jurists and modern-day fiqh councils have issued a number of verdicts regarding it. Number 1, the Islamic Fiqh Council of Muslim World League issued the following statement under the leadership of the Mufti Abdulaziz al-Sheikh Hafidhahullah.
So I believe, and as it mentions here, the year 2006, this verdict was issued, and it was signed. You can see the signature on the verdict by the Mufti Abdulaziz al-Sheikh. Also has a signature of Sheikh Abdullah bin Sulaiman al-Mani', another great figure of the scholars. And it has Sheikh Ahmed al-Mubaraki, one of the previous members of Lajnat al-Da'ima, and Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Subayl, one of the previous imams of the Haram, and other figures who studied this matter, al-Rakban. This is their verdict that they're speaking about. It's mainly regarding profits with margin. That's what people do. Deposit an amount, and then there's a leverage, and the broker helps you make money by giving you something that you can base it upon. And it's a lot of the times with exchange market. Hold on.
The Islamic Fiqh Council of the Muslim World League in its 18th session that was held in Makkah al-Mukarramah from the 10th to the 14th of Rabi' al-Awwal, the year 1427 after the Hijrah, has examined the issue of trading in margins, which means that the customer pays a small amount of the value of what he wants to buy, which is called a margin, and the agent, i.e. the bank or otherwise, pays the rest as a loan, provided that the purchase contract remains in the name of the agent as a pledge for the money that was loaned. After listening to the research that has been submitted and the detailed discussion on the topic, the opinion of the Council is that this transaction involves the following. Number 1, dealing in buying and selling for the purpose of profit. And this dealing is usually done in major currencies or financial certificates, i.e. shares and bonds, or some types of products. And it may include trade in options, futures, and the indexes of major markets. 2, loans, which refers to the money given by the agent to the customer directly, if the agent is a bank, or via a third party if the agent is not a bank. Number 3, riba, which occurs in this transaction in the form of fees for delaying the deal. This is interest that is charged to the purchaser if he does not make a decision on the same day, and which may be a percentage of the loan or a set amount. 4, commission, which is the money that the agent gets as a result of the customer's dealings through him. And it is an agreed upon percentage of the value of the sale or purchase. 5. The pledge, which is a commitment signed by the customer agreeing to leave the contract with the agent as a pledge for a loan, giving him the right to sell these contracts and take back the loan if the customer's losses reach a specific percentage of the margin, unless the customer increases the pledge in order to compensate for a drop in the price of the product.
So that meaning that wealth, that margin is like a collateral. So it's a loan, it's a collateral, it's a leverage. And when it's a collateral, you find that when certain things are not met, he takes it back. So you're like, SubhanAllah, is this a loan? Why are you taking it back? Didn't you give me money? So this is the meaning. They're saying that it contains so much within one contract. And this is why a lot of the scholars, even generally, when they study this matter, they said it contains so much contracts in one. And this is where it makes it really blurry. And from one angle, you're hiring someone, a broker, you're giving him his workage or his fee. And then also from the angle, there's a loan. And what type of loan is this? And some of them try to get out of it and say this is an investment loan. Because nowadays, those who try to permit these transactions of loans, they say this is because they say al-qard divides it in two. Qard istihlaki wa qard istithmari. Qard, that is a consumer loan. Consumer loan, someone just giving you a loan for some personal affairs. They say this one, it has to be a goodly loan. And then the ones that come and say there's a such thing of a loan called al-qard al-istithmari, an investment loan, they said here it's allowed. The people in the past, how are they doing partnership in business? How do they team up? I give some money and the guy brings in some sort of work he's doing physically. So they said that is the investment loan. I said, no, this is slightly different. And here, this is not real partnership. This is not real partnership. It is, in reality, what wealth for wealth. There's no real business being established here. There's no real business being established here, a partnership. So that's where some of those scholars have spoke about it in terms of loans. But we'll speak further, inshallah. I wanted to read when Sheikh bin Baz was asked about this, some distinguishing between qard istithmari and qard istihlaki, consumer loan and investment loans. He says, كل هذا غلط. هذا من كيسهم. All of this is a mistake. He said, these people made this up. There's no such thing. ليس له وجه. Has no origin or basis. الرسول حرم ذلك مطلقا. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited all of that absolutely. سواء كان القرض للاستثمار أو الاستهلاك كله محرم. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يفرق بين هذا. Because we find nowadays people, they have different titles. They say, no, riba, what was haram was only the variable, not the fixed interest. Only the variable interest. And now people come say, only riba is haram if it is personal, consumer loan. But if you go to the bank and take a loan for them for investments, this is what the discussion. So the Sheikh bin Baz is commenting saying this is not correct. So he says, وَإِنْ كَانَ الْقَصْدُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ الْإِسْتِهْلَاكَ أَمْ كَانَ الْقَصْدُ الْإِسْتِثْمَارُ وَالْمُتَاجَرَةِ نعم, he says. This is it, where the affair is equal. تفضل.
The committee believes that this transaction is not permissible according to the Shari'ah for the following reasons. Firstly, it involves obvious riba, which is presented by the addition to the amount of the loan, which is called paying fees for delaying the deal. This is a kind of haram riba. Allah says, interpretation of the meaning, O you who believe, fear Allah and give up what remains from riba if you are believers. And if you do not do it, then take a notice of war from Allah and His Messenger. But if you repent, you shall have your capital sums. Deal not unjustly, and you shall not be dealt with unjustly. Al-Baqarah, ayah 278 to 279. Secondly, the agent stipulates that the customer must deal through him, which leads to combining both giving a loan for something in return and paying commission, which is akin to combining giving a loan and selling at the same time, which is forbidden in the Shari'ah because the Messenger, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, said, "It is not permissible to give a loan and sell at the same time." The hadith was narrated by Abu Dawood and At-Tirmidhi, who said it is a Hasan Sahih hadith. In this case, he has benefited from his loan, and the fuqaha are unanimously agreed that every loan that brings a benefit is haram riba.
The Prophet ﷺ said, "La salafun wa la bay'." There's no such thing of a loan and business at the same in a sales transaction, and they don't come together because they say a loan. What is intended by loan? It is irtifaq. It's supposed to be charitable, help someone. It's not for irtizaq, making profit and earnings out of it. So that's the difference.
Thirdly, dealings that are done in this manner in the global markets usually involve many contracts that are haram according to the Shari'ah, such as 1. Dealing in bonds, which comes under the heading of riba, which is haram. This was stated in a resolution of the Islamic Fiqh Council in Jeddah number 60 in the 6th session.
2. Bond in reality is a loan. Go ahead, follow.
2. Dealing indiscriminately in company shares. The 4th statement of the Islamic Fiqh Council of the Muslim World League in its 14th session in the year 1415 after the Hijrah stated that it is haram to deal in the shares of companies whose main purposes are haram or some of their dealings involve riba. 3. Selling currencies is usually done without the hand-to-hand exchange, which makes them permissible according to the Shari'ah, i.e., hand-to-hand exchange is what makes the transaction permissible. 4. Dealing.
So this fatwa council, the one that is one of the greatest of them, the Muslim World League, in regards to, they just say taqabض haqiqi, has to be real hand-by-hand exchange. And also some of their members gave a verdict of taqabض hukmi, something that takes the ruling of hand-by-hand exchange for currencies. And for example, the Mufti himself, there's an article, and I believe also later on even the council issued this fatwa, where in a news article, a newspaper, old one, the title is جائزة حتى عبر الإنترنت المفتي العام للمملكة الموافقة بنعم دليل على القبض في معاملات. يعني they're just saying yes is sufficient as hand-by-hand exchange. So he mentions the Mufti that once has been binded and finalized with yes, I accept the contract, and it's finalized and both have parted upon that, this is sufficient. It takes the ruling of an actual hand-by-hand exchange. So, and also the Majma' al-Fiqhi Dawali, the International Fiqh Islamic Academy, that we're going to read soon, coming up, they gave a verdict that there is something called taqabud hukmi. If it's complete a transaction that you see the effect on your bank account as your bank statement, al-qaid al-masrafi. So if you see it right away, it has an impact, you do the transaction and it goes straight to your account, even though you didn't get physically, the money's not in your hand, but just some statement. And even if they went further, some of them said just any i'timan, something that guarantees, like a person gives you a check. You didn't even cash the check yet. They also added, it takes the ruling of taqabud. Anything that stands, that certifies that this transaction is done, it belongs to you. It's still not up for grabs. So this is called taqabud hukmi, and a lot of the scholars are on this opinion. So in terms of the internet, yes, I can do an internet transaction and sell currencies, and the fact that I end the transaction with him and it's done and the amount is known and we separate, that is known. If it's confirmed that you're entitled to it. So that is one. But a discussion comes about the settlement. Because with Forex, the money doesn't, because there's two hisabs. There's an account for Forex that doesn't really stay in your account. Then there's an account of your bank account. So the money to get to your bank account, there's probably a process of 2 days or 3 business days. They said there's a rare incident one day. But the money to settle and have the tasfiyatul hisabat to go into your bank account, there's a process. Sometimes there's delay for people, some people have issues. So people are saying it's not guaranteed 100%, the settlement. So people here are skeptical that this takes the ruling of taqabض hukmi, like actual hand by hand, because sometimes you're going to a third party to transfer the funds, the government has to, everything's monitored. There's process. Tafadhal.
Number 4, dealing in options and futures. A resolution of the Islamic Fiqh Council in Jeddah number 63 in its 6th session stated that options are not permissible according to the Shari'ah, because the object of dealing in these contracts is not money or services or a financial obligation which it is permissible to exchange. The same applies to futures and trading in indexes. 5. In some cases, the agent is selling something that he does not possess, and selling what one does not possess is forbidden in Shari'ah.
So with Forex, a lot of the times you're basically selling what you do not possess. And this is what a lot of the times people are. They're bidding on numbers that they don't have. And this guy is telling you about some Chinese currency. This guy doesn't have Chinese currency. He's bidding on it. Maybe he enters with US dollars and he comes out with US dollars. You're just bidding on digital numbers, price fluctuation. Whatever you bid on, you're basically wage on that. So a lot of the times people are saying the person, it's not his mal. This is the mal of the broker. And he is going in there, and then before he even finishes one transaction, he's already bidding with the same money another amount. I say, this transaction hasn't been, you really haven't became an owner and you're already bidding. So this is where it's becoming skeptical. Tafadhal.
Fourthly, this transaction involves economic harm to the parties involved, especially the customer, investor, and to the economy of the society in general, because it is based on borrowing to excess and taking risks. Such matters usually involve cheating, misleading people, rumors, hoarding, artificial inflation of prices, and rapid and strong fluctuation of prices, with the aim of getting rich quickly and acquiring the savings of others in unlawful ways. Hence, it becomes under the heading of consuming people's wealth unlawfully. In addition to diverting wealth in society from real, fruitful economic activity to this type of risk that has no economic advantage, and it may lead to severe economic turmoil that will cause great loss and harm in society.
And this is so true. The waqi' akbaru shahid. Modern day affairs is a great attestation to that. For that reason, India, Forex trading, I believe was illegal. I don't know if it's continuously illegal. And they issued several warnings to the investors about the risk of trading in the Forex market. They mention that it can lead to capital outflows, which can weaken the Indian rupee. So many things, even in China, Forex trading, illegal, was issued. And several measures were taken by the government to prevent Chinese investors from participating in the market. And they even blacklisted several Forex brokers. I'm not trying to small Iran, Indonesia, Cuba, different countries. And it's impacted the market of the currency of a country. So it has economical losses that are great. Follow?
The Council advises financial institutions to follow the ways of finance that are prescribed in Shari'ah and that do not involve riba and the like, and do not have harmful economic effects on their customers or on the economy in general, like Shari'i partnerships and the like. And Allah is the source of strength. May Allah send blessings and peace upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all his family and companions. End quote.
MashaAllah. It's as if they're talking to us now. 2006, and it's as if they're talking right now. Tfaddal, Bismillah.
Number 2. The Fatwa Department of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan issued the following statement. The board is of the view that such transaction is forbidden in Islamic law, Shari'ah, because the money which the office lends to the client is conditioned by trading in foreign exchange with none other than it. In this case, it is a tied loan. No credit facilities to the client unless he adheres to dealings with the office alone. Moreover, the office profit is assured while the client's isn't, and this is tantamount to gambling. This is in addition to the fact that this transaction is conducted without mutual reception in the place where the transaction was concluded. Also, the office sells and buys that which isn't in its possession, and this has been disproved and forbidden by the Prophet ﷺ, and Allah knows best.
And this is one of the things that may point out that it's not a real partnership of gain and loss, that it is equal. The broker, he's always up a hand. He has an advantage. That's why you find the loss that usually occurs to the clients. And in terms of percentage, they say 90% of Forex traders lose money. SubhanAllah. 90%. I think it even went up. They said those who really benefit from Forex are the rich, those on the top. It just makes people become in loss. Yes, there is some individual sudden gain, but the risk factor for even that individual is to lose money at times. So,
the International Islamic Fiqh Academy published the following statement. The Council of the International Islamic Fiqh Academy of the Organization of the Islamic Conference holding its 11th session in Manama, Kingdom of Bahrain on 25th to the 30th of Rajab, the year 1419 after the Hijrah, which corresponds to 14th to the 19th of November 1998. Having examined the research paper submitted to the Academy concerning currency trading, foreign exchange market, having listened to the discussion on the subject, resolves. First,
so mashallah, so they are hearing from financial experts. فَاسْأَلْ بِهِ خَبِيرًا. They're listening to the people of his expertise, the people of competence, who know it, who perhaps went in these markets, observed it, and now they're giving their observations after listening to them. Tfaddal. So these people that come and say, these scholars, they don't know. They're just talking and they have no clue what's talking. These people are the same. We had a convention or a meeting with experts and we studied it thoroughly, months, and sat. Tfaddal.
Confirming the Academy Resolution number 21 concerning banknotes and the changing value of currency. Resolution number 63 concerning the stock exchange, paragraph 3 on trading in commodities, currencies and indexes of organized markets, and number 2 concerning currency exchange, and resolution number 53 concerning qabd, taking possession, paragraph 2IC. Second, it is not permissible in Shari'ah to sell currencies by deferred sale, nor to set a date for the exchange of their price, as has been proven by the Quran, Sunnah and Ijma'. Third,
so even future spot transactions. They said we're going to do uqud al-mustaqbaliyah. We're going to exchange at a future price. This is real gambling, subhanAllah. You're really predicting now. Or even they do forward spot transactions. They said to protect us from any random, unexpected change in the market of the price. we're going to forward our exchange rate to this type of date, so we can this. But what about if someone, this is not supposed to be like, this is still gharar, it's unknown, the outcome. And the reason why the Prophet ﷺ naha anil gharar, he prohibited ambiguity, that a person la ya'rif aqibatul umur, he doesn't know the outcome. So these transactions are not permitted because it leads to uncertainties. Tafadhal.
Third, riba, currency trading, and currency exchange that do not abide by the ruling of Shari'ah are amongst the most important causes for economic crises and financial fluctuations that have hit some countries. Recommendation: it is incumbent upon Muslim governments to exercise control over financial markets and compel them to regulate their activities, such as in currencies and other transactions, in accordance with the provisions of Shari'ah, as these principles are the safety valve against economic disasters. Indeed, Allah is the giver of success. End quote.
Because they're saying, in reality, it's not really currency. There's no real. They say this kullu hada wahmiya. This is illusory. I mean, this is illusion that people are doing exchange. People are doing exchange of currencies. That's not the case. A lot of the times it's just numbers that people are making a bet on, and that's what happens. Nothing reality, they're saying. Tafadhal.
4. Dar al-Ifta' al-Misriya, the foundation for Fatawa of Egypt, issued the following statement. After extensive research and study of this type of dealing, the Egyptian Dar al-Ifta' considers the prohibition of Forex trading and the prohibition of participating in it. Some jurisprudential institutions have also issued fatawas, as the International Islamic Fiqh Academy in Jeddah. End of quote.
Yeah, and then they research it thoroughly. If you go back to their website, they bring like experts breaking it down to them. Then they do like detailed research, and they give the conclusion that it's still not permissible. And they say from many angles. Yes, there's some who came online recently saying that they have some sort of change in their verdicts. But in terms of the website, this is the official statement as of now. Follow?
Number 5, the International Union of Muslim Scholars presented a fatwa about Forex. As for dealing in Forex currencies on margin, I did not find in the current ongoing transactions them meeting the required Shari'ah conditions for them to be legislated. Because the lender, according to its claim, does not lend, rather it merely grants credit and a guarantee within the limits of your amount, and that the loan does not enter into your account, neither legally nor according to the Shari'ah, and therefore it is a mere transaction of credit, unless someone finds someone who lends you a light loan and enters into your account, then this is another matter. In addition to that, there is another problem, which is combining the loan, if it is correct to say, with the brokership for a fee, which is kind of a compensation. Therefore, a decision was issued by the Islamic Fiqh Council of the Muslim World League on currency trading, i.e. Forex, and investing in them.
That is not permissible. What has proceeded. So what he's pointing out, that you guys are saying that investment loans is allowed. So firstly, it's not even a loan. You don't even have the money. It's not even in your bank account. It's iman, it's a credit. It's just like a credit or a guarantee within limits of your amount. So not Islamically nor legally, it's considered to be a loan. You're not entitled to that amount. You can't do as you wish. So this is what they're saying is a bit problematic as well. Problematic. And then if it was a loan, then it would be an issue with the brokership having a ujra, a fee, compensation with the loan. This is another issue that he's looking at. And the same council, they have different verdicts now. They're a bit, their wordings are not clear. Like one time they're saying, in Qatar, the banks, they're allowed to give like a 2 weeks margin loan without any charge. It's Islamic compliant. Because this council is located in Qatar. So they said the Islamic banks, they can give people 2 weeks leverage for something they want to do. But it's still doubtful. Like, what is, if they're not charging, there has to be some sort of benefit. But they're saying it's indirect benefit. And we'll read some other verdicts, inshallah, and we're going to come to it. Follow.
6. The Accounting and Audit Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions, AAOIFI, released the following verdict. It is permissible to trade in currencies provided that it is done in compliance with the following Shari'ah rules and precepts.
And those who are the ones who are giving a verdict for this, I'll read their names so the brothers know, of the members of this hay'ah. And they are Dr. Abdulaziz bin Fawzan al-Fawzan, also Muhammad al-Usaymi, Yusuf bin Abdullah al-Shabili, and other professors that study these type of things. There are, I believe, or some of them are from these members. Tawalla, go ahead.
A. Both parties must take possession of the counter values before dispersing, such possession being either actual or constructive. B. The counter values of the same...
So that's what they mentioned. أن يتم التقابض قبل تفرق العاقدين سواء كان القبض حقيقيا أم حكميا. So whether it is actual exchange, hand by hand, or what takes his ruling, of modern day ruling. Follow.
B. The counter values of the same currency must be of equal amount, even if one of them is in paper money and the other is in coin of the same country, like a note of £1 or for a coin of £1. Like a note of £1 for a coin of £1. C. The contracts shall not contain any conditional option or deferment clause regarding the delivery of one or both counter values. D. The dealing in currencies shall not aim at establishing a monopoly position, nor should it entail any evil consequence to the interest of individuals or societies. E. Currency transactions shall not be carried out on the forward or future markets.
MashaAllah. So what's attributed to them that they permitted it with conditions. They permitted it with conditions. And even some Islamic banks, they operate on this fatwa. This hay'ah, it's a big hay'ah, brother. A lot of Islamic institutions across the globe, they operate well based upon what they say. If you want to know about Islamic finance, a lot of any Shari'ah standards of what is considered to be an Islamic institution or Islamic compliant, they operate by this fatwa. So a lot of times what they say, it goes. So when you find, they have this called Shari'ah, Forex bank accounts, where the broker tells you there's no overnight fee if you leave the money with us. There's no fee of that. We're not charging the zakat. That's riba. There's no interest. We're different. But there's still other issues that are still left. Tafadhal, go ahead.
The Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America, AMJA, stated the following. Forex currency is a remote or distance currency exchange with a broker as a third party between the buyer and the seller. Currency exchange is permissible if the transaction is effective immediately, not a future sale, and the two currencies are mutually submitted by the buyer and the seller without any intentional delay. Another condition must be added nowadays, which is the avoidance of leverage or fractional reserve, meaning that trading must be in real money and not only depositing 1% of the actual amount and trading digitally in the remaining 99% without possessing the money as many financial institutes do. 2. Hedge fund is a high risky trading and speculation. It is permissible if the trade in securities belong to a halal business, while the securities themselves are either stocks or shares only, bonds. 3. Derivatives include forwards, futures, options, and swaps are not allowed because their values are derived from the value of the underlying asset they are derived from, while they do not have an intrinsic value, meaning they do not reflect any commodities or services. Worse than that, trading in them involves a lot of ambiguity and uncertainty. End of quote.
طيب, so the leader, who's Salah al-Sawi, he's on the opinion of that it's impermissible, in a nutshell, like other councils. Yes, some of these councils, they're far-fetched. They're from like the Sururi type of a view and Ikhwani. But we just wanted to point out for the listeners that in terms of the Majami al-Fiqhiyya, the main bodies of jurists today, from what we know, is that it's impermissible. Forex, and they listed their reasons. And those who permitted it, and if you really look to their conditions and see if it does really apply to the Forex of the modern day market, it doesn't really applicable. Maybe apply to an Islamic scenario, maybe in a Muslim country, and even that, there's certain things that they need to look at. So I wanted to point out a few things that needs to be looked at when we're speaking about Forex, brothers. They say, in terms of gharar, because whenever a transaction, we look at, does it have any ambiguity that makes it so uncertain and has so much speculation and risk factor? They said, اتفق الاقتصاديون وخبراء المال على أن معاملة الفوركس قد هوت أكبر قدر من الغرر في العقود المالية الحديثية على الإطلاق. Allah, brother. وشهد شاهد من أهلها. These are the people, the financial experts, economics, people, the اقتصاديون, financial advisors say that the risk factor found in Forex is the highest of modern day. And then they said also in terms of the darar, like if you look at also another reason why certain transactions may be considered haram, is that the harm it causes. Like, firstly, the broker, he's carrying himself as he's the one bidding the wealth. يجمع الأموال من العملاء يظهر وكأنه هو المضارب بنفسه مع أنه ليس إلا مجرد وكيل لسمسار آخر، فإذا وقع أي خلل كان العميل غير قادر على الوصول بأي سبب لحقه في الضمان. When you're going through so much, sometimes the margin of that amount is probably from the bank. They're financing. Then they're giving it to the broker. And then the broker is giving it to you. And sometimes through these having so much middlemen, if an issue erupts and it could lead to harm. And sometimes, yes, the broker is the one that gives the money. And then also they say from the harm is there's no حماية القانونية في كثير من الدول. There's no real legal protection by the governments for those who are really involved in this. How many people have suffered from scams and fraud? Like there's so much websites now regarding about scam on Forex. They even made, like they said, top 5 indicators by which you can quickly identify a Forex scam. Number 1, broker does not have a license. Wow, that happens so much. People, they resort to that. Number 2, the site does not contain, it's informal, has contained key information. Number 3, the company offers a guaranteed high return, like a large amount. This sounds bogus, sounds skeptical. Number 4, in the reviews, the company's clients report problems with the withdrawal of funds. Look at the review, says, "Mom, the money was being. You try to withdraw your funds, it's not there." What's that? And we'll give stories of scams. Wa ila Allahi mushtaka, brothers. We complain all to Allah that with the stories that we read of people, and there's, just generally people listen. Like when we're speaking about Bitcoin, last session, they said since 2021, more than 46,000 people have reported losing over $1 billion in crypto due to scams. From 2021, 46,000 people. What happened to the hadith? لا ضرر ولا ضرار. And then even with this Forex, they said, if you see that the support team takes up... This is to show you that scam individuals of Forex, they really take advantage of a lot of masakin who just want to make money. They take a long time to respond, or doesn't respond to the individual at all. That happens a lot. SubhanAllah, la ilaha illallah. طيب, according to studies conducted by various sources, the percentage of Forex traders who fail is estimated to be 70,000 to 90,000, or 70% to 90%. This means that out of every 10 traders who enter the market, only 1 or 2 will succeed in making a profit. The high failure rate in Forex trading could be attributed to various factors. And this is from a report of Forex.Academy, April 7, 2023. And Forex trading is considered by many to be nothing more than gambling. After all, whenever you take a position in a particular currency pair, you're essentially betting on the price to either go up or down by taking a long or short position. So Forex is perhaps to a lot of people just another form of gambling. But some of them, they came and they said, no, it's not gambling, because we're using technical analysis to determine how it fluctuates. And in reality, the way how it fluctuates, it's so high in risk that it's overwhelming. طيب, another thing that I wanted to point out of the verdicts, because some of them who say it's permissible, they use a fatwa by Sheikh Ibn Jibreen, rahimahullah, that he gave regarding, they said about Forex, in the year 1425 in the Hijri calendar. He gave a fatwa saying that the person could do these exchange of currencies with a broker, and the person may add some money to it, and he also may, from what the wordings of it, he may have some sort of benefit. He goes, فلا بد أنها تحصل على مصلحة كشهرة هذه البنوك في العالم ليحصل على تعامل معها من الجماهير والثقة بها فتنتفع بالودائع والأمانات والحسابات الجارية وما أشبهها. إذا وبعد هذا فنقول إن هذه المعاملات المصرفية لا مانع منها بشرط الحلول والتقابض بين المضارب والوساطة أو توكيل البنك ليتولى طرفي العقد فيكون وكيلا عن صاحب الريالات وصاحب الدولارات. So from what's apparent from the fatwa of Ibn Jibreen is that it's permissible, that type of margin, and some having some sort of benefit. But they forget the parts that أنه تراجع عنها. Ibn Jibreen recanted from this fatwa. وسحبها, and he took it out, so you no longer perhaps can find it. And they're still using a fatwa that he recanted from. طيب. Also they bring that in the fatwa al-hay'iyya shar'iyya for the bank of Rajihi, and a group of scholars who have our financial advisors, trustees of advisors who give verdicts, Abdullah bin Sulaiman al-Mani' from Saudi Arabia, great scholar, Ahmed al-Mubaraki, and also Ali Khunayn, who's once part of the members of the Kibar al-Ulama, Dr. Abdurrahman bin Salih al-Atram, son of that great scholar, Sheikh or the scholar Salih al-Atram. And they gave a fatwa saying, when they're speaking about the fees that the broker may take, and the margin. إن هذه العملية قرض حسن من الشركة لعميلها وجائز ولا بأس به، ولكن لا يجوز للشركة احتساب عمولة على العملة التي تقرضها له، وإن باعتها له تكون وكيلة عنه، ولها أن تتقاضى العمولة المعتادة التي تحتسبها عند قيامها بمثل هذه العملية بدون قرض، بشرط أن لا تتضمن العمولة بأي صورة فائدة مستترة على القرض المذكور. So in summary, what they're saying is the broker can take a fee of what is initially given for a broker, of a fee that is for his work. يأخذ أجرته. And this fee shouldn't be for the loan. It's not a reference for the loan that's given. So they're saying here that margin is permissible. So this is where a lot of them, they use this fatwa. But in reality, we see that the fees are all operating not as him just doing some other work for you as a broker, but it's mainly for the margin of the loan. That's a lot of the times. And a lot of them have tried to, they say that this margin that the broker is doing is not a loan. This is called financing. This is called financing, tamwil, they say. Like the bank could finance, they can give you, it's called, they say, min bab murabaha. We're trying to invest with you, so we're giving you some wealth. But a lot of times it doesn't meet it. As we mentioned, you don't even have that wealth. So, yes, there are some who have come out now and tried to permit margin, and they say it's from the angle of sale or investment. Like you can go to you want to start a business and you need some money, the banks gives you financing into that business. So this is what they're saying as like a surplus business of murabaha, and there's a lot of speculations on that. So what about the delay of 2 days of settlement? Yawmain, 3 days waiting. Some of them have said يغتفر في العاجل تأخير القبض يومين أو ثلاثة, because of the great maslahah and also beyond the clients and their involvement. The settlement of 2 business days is something beyond people's capability now. Like if you're doing a business in Forex, for you to get your money, for you to want to get it today, it's sometimes beyond your scope. So they're saying this is overlooked. This is overlooked. And they're trying to permit it from that angle. They said it also has a great benefit for it to go through its process for government policies and so forth with the banks. But a lot of the times, before the settlement, people are already doing a trade in another currency, selling this and doing another one. And there's so much buying and selling with the broker's account that you have with him before anything goes into your account. Sometimes. So people are really hesitant regarding that. So these are some of the verdicts. So with the summary, margin, what they call al-rafi al-maliyya or al-hamish, leverages and margin. You find the broker, he's only giving that margin with the condition that you do trade on his platform. So it's not real loan, brothers. You can see that it defeats a lot of what they're saying. And also from the angle that you're not really you're coming in with US dollars and you're coming out with US dollars. Where's the British pounds? Where's all that you're betting? You have nothing of that sort. It was just digital numbers. We were bidding on prices, going up and down, and we had nothing of that sort. And Also, in terms of now they have began even different contracts, option contracts, or different things called CFDs, which we really don't own to Forex. So it's becoming more and more of just to get money through money as a form of gambling. There's no real business or nothing happening in reality, that it just happens that you're just praying that the price goes up and the price goes down. Like that's how you pray. But what some mashayikh say about Forex up until now, they withhold. They say it's doubtful and it requires more research. And a person may take that stance. And that's what I advise the brothers. Yes, without these great scholars, a person can take the stance that is impermissible. But how about now with these other verdicts coming out regarding this issue? So it may need to be looked into further. I would say the brothers, unknown, be hesitant and hold back from saying it's haram. Just see if the matter be researched further. But in terms of what the people have mentioned of its harm, then there's a lot of substantial reasons to incline to say it's not permissible. To incline and say it's not permissible because they say the Shari'ah came to remove any disputes. And with these type of things, it brings a lot of disputes, even between the broker and the clients. So inshallah, we end with this. And we hope, inshallah, we've generally covered most of what is needed about this topic. And next week, if there's any questions or follow-up, we can take it, inshallah. Those wishes, they can send it through Masjid's website or through Channel Da'wah. And then we can cover it. But as of now, it's a doubtful matter. We're advised to avoid. And even it's not even encouraged to invest in. 90% of people that trade in Forex lose money. I would keep far, brothers. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. We'll start our next class after 5 minutes, inshallah. Barakallahu feek. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.